Hello, intermediate school families. I believe everybody is getting access. I'm going to start in just a moment. Really excited to get into some information about school starting next week. I'm just going to give people a few minutes to get in, and then we are going to get started. I hope everybody is doing well in this heat, staying hydrated, having fun. Okay, so we're going to get started because we have a lot of information to cover, and this information is so that we can have a safe, calm, and productive start to school. So just to let everyone know, this presentation will also be available in Spanish tomorrow. So if you are in need of translation, please feel free to tune in and check our school website for this presentation in Spanish. It will be available in Espanol tomorrow. So you can be looking for that. Okay, so we are so happy to see you. I am joined by Mrs. Francis, the leader of student culture. For those of you who don't know, my name is Mrs. Birchmore. I am the intermediate school principal. Again, we are so happy and excited to be here, and we can't see you, but to just feel your energy. It's been a short summer for us, so we are excited. We've been planning and getting ready for school, but I just wanted to reiterate how excited we are to have everybody with us. So I just wanted to introduce the rest of the leadership team. It's comprised of myself and Mrs. Francis, but also Miss Freeman, who is our principal in residence. We have Miss Sinatus, who is an instructional dean, and also Mrs. Polides, who is another instructional dean, our math teacher formerly, and that is who will be leading the intermediate school for the 2021-2022 school year. So I just wanted to start off with our vision. It helps ground us in where we're going and how we're going to get there. So I just want to read through this with you all. Our vision, and this is the vision of Foundation Academies, is to create a wide range of intentional learning experiences in a joyful, inclusive, and culturally responsive environment so that all our scholars can develop the knowledge and skills necessary to fulfill their purpose, talking about their lives. So this is what grounds us in our work, and I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of our vision for what our schools are like. Now, the intermediate school is like no other. Foundation Academies is great, but we are about learning at the intermediate school. It's serious business. You see the scholar here, he means business by any means necessary. And I just want to reiterate to you guys, one, welcome back, but it's time to get to work once school starts. So I'm going to start off with some important information to know. Many of you probably already know this, but we are getting back into the swing of things post hybrid learning and COVID. So I just want to make sure that everybody is aware. We are 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, and students are split up in each grade level into 3 classrooms. Students in 3rd and 4th grade will stay in their classrooms, and their teachers rotate to teach the individual subjects. 5th graders in preparation for middle school will transition to their different classes for each subject. We have a 191-day school year. So from August to June, we are learning from the beginning to the end. And at our school, the passing grade is a C. So there are no Ds at Foundation Academy Intermediate. So our lowest grade is for passing is actually a 70. I know there's been a lot in the news about school reopenings and decisions and things of that matter, but right now the intermediate school is back to full in-person learning. That means we have an 8-hour school day. We are in school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Friday is our half days. Our regular school day is from 7:35 to 3:35 for the intermediate school, and our Friday is our half day. So we start at 7:35 and we end at 12:30. At 7:51, students at the intermediate school are late. We do have staggered arrival time, so if you have students who are in different schools, their arrival time and their late time may be a little bit different. but at the intermediate school, late is at 7:51. If your student is going to be absent or late, please just reach out to the main office. I just want to remind everyone that 12 unexcused absences put your student at risk for retention. We want your student at school and learning every single day. And if a student or your student needs to be absent for any reason, please just submit proof of absence or note to the secretaries in the main office within 5 days of the absence. Just a quick overview about our grading policies and our assignments. So we encourage students to be present and on time and actively working in every single class, every single day. Students in every single class, every single day have the opportunity to redo any assignment to mastery. So our goal is to make sure that students master what they learn. If your student doesn't pass a classwork, test, or a quiz, they have the opportunity to redo it during any given marking period for any amount of times. And our grade book breakdown right now is tests are worth 25% of their grades, quizzes and projects are worth 10, and classwork is a big part of our grade, which is 65%. Sorry. So I just want to go over a couple of things. All students, if you haven't already, are receiving brand new laptops. We want to make sure that our students have the technology that they need to be successful this school year, and that means that we are able to replace everybody's laptop with a brand new one. The laptops will stay at school daily. They may come home in different occasions for special needs or activities, and that information will be sent out to you if that's necessary. Parents and guardians are responsible for any damages caused by your scholar that occur by family members before school starts or if they happen to take their computers home. So you are in charge of those things, and we'll house them safely when they're left at school. So laptop exchanges have happened this week. So they happen today. They'll happen the 12th and the 13th from 10 to 12 or 1 to 3. And that happens in the back of our 363 building at the gym doors. So even though we're back in-person learning, we are still going to utilize the Google Classroom platform. So some things that you can get from Google Classroom, one is that your student's advisor may be reaching out to you to start setting up home visits as early as tomorrow, because our teachers just returned this week. They may be reaching out to set up virtual home visits with you to get to know you and introduce themselves to you and to your family. Students will begin to receive invites for their teachers' classrooms. So there may be up to 8 invites, 1 for each class and for homeroom. These classrooms will keep you up to date on assignments and announcements for each subject that your student is taught. And we are going to utilize this information to communicate with the student, but also with parents. So if you're interested, you can be added to the Google Classroom to stay in the know about how your student is progressing and what assignments that they may have. So this is just what the Google Classroom interface looks like. As you can see, there's different classroom sites for each subject, and your student will have invites in their email for each of these classes. And it will look like this in the inbox. So just ensure that yourself, if you want to be a guardian for the class or for your student, that they select join. Once they join, they can get all the notifications for each of their individual classes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mrs. Francis. I'm the leader of student culture here at Intermediate School. I am excited that we're getting back to the 2021-22 school year. Welcome back to all of my scholars who are coming back, and welcome to all of our new scholars and our upcoming 3rd graders. I'm really excited. So I'm going to start talking about some really important information that you need to know. It is going to be a lot. So just know that this video is also, this recording will be posted on our school website so that you're able to go back. And also you can feel free to reach out to any of your child's advisors, or you can reach out to the front office if you have any questions. All right, so we're gonna get started just going over the uniform policy, what our uniforms look like in the intermediate school. And so this handsome young man in the picture here who is modeling is my son, Madison, who will actually be coming up as a 3rd grader this year. So that's really exciting for me. So he's modeling our uniform. It is our Foundation Academy Intermediate School gray polo shirt, also khaki pants, Please, no shorts. I know even when it's warm outside, we want to put our scholars in shorts. Believe me, it is air conditioned in the building, so they do not need to wear shorts. So please ensure that students are wearing khaki pants. Also, no skirts. Students should be wearing, even our female students should be wearing khaki pants. Black sneakers or shoes. Sneakers preferably, because our students have recess. They also have PE, so it's really helpful that they have sneakers that they can move and get around in, and plus they're just comfortable. So, but you can choose to have your children wear, you know, shoes if you prefer. We just ask that no Uggs or slides or any type of sandals. So please make sure, you know, before they go out the house in the morning, you just check in and make sure they have their black sneakers or shoes. They also will need black or brown belt to wear, and also they will have a PE uniform. The PE uniform is a blue t-shirt and also blue sweatpants. All of these can be purchased at Bits and Pieces on 4 North Broad Street, right here in downtown Trenton. They know all of what our uniforms look like. For our PE uniforms, they will wear them only on their PE days. So they can come to school with the uniform, the PE uniform on, so that they will be comfortable for the day and they don't have to change. You will know what days are the PE days and what days are not. And so then you'll know. On the days that are not PE days, students are not allowed to wear their PE uniform. They must wear their full intermediate school uniform. I'm seeing a couple of questions in the chat. I'm going to try to catch them when I can, especially if they're specific to this. If not, we'll answer at the end. Does the sole of the sneaker have to be black? No, you don't have to worry about a black sole on your sneaker. That is a great question. They do not have to be black. And Bits and Pieces also have blue gym shorts. Right now, we are not wearing gym shorts. We are thinking about moving possibly to shorts, but right now we are wearing the t-shirt and the sweatpants. If any changes happen before the school year starts, we will let you know about shorts. PE uniforms are not mandatory at this point. They are encouraged, but they are not mandatory. This is just another picture of what our uniform looks like. If your student needs a sweatshirt, if they get chilly, they can also purchase the sweatshirts in the building. We ask that students are not wearing any outside hoodies or sweatshirts or shirts that are not Foundation Academy uniform. So they can wear the pull-up or the polo, and there's also like a blue polo sweater that they can also purchase that has the logo on it. All right, so our cell phone policy, I know for most of my 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, our little bits, not a lot of them have cell phones, but some of them do. I know some of them walk to school, and that's fine. The policy is, though, when they come into the building, they must turn their cell phones off and put them in their school bag. They are not allowed to have their cell phones out throughout the day, use them throughout the day, videotape each other, take pictures. We ask that they keep their cell phones in their school bags until the end of the day, once they leave outside of the building, so that you can have contact with them. We also ask that students are using school technology like their computers, the Google Meets, their emails appropriately. They're not sending inappropriate messages or either looking up or searching inappropriate material. If that happens, we will follow up with you and follow up with the student about a plan of action around that behavior. But we just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page about cell phone usage at school. Breakfast and lunch. So the great thing about this year, especially due to the pandemic, breakfast and lunch will be free for all students. So all students will be free this year for breakfast and lunch. You will still need to fill out the lunch application. So we encourage you all to please still fill out the lunch application. You will have an opportunity to do that. We will be sending the lunch application home, or you will be able to pick it up at our a back to school event on Thursday, but we ask that everyone is filling it out. Students can bring healthy breakfast from home to eat in the morning in homeroom. We do preface, please make sure it's healthy, no chips, no sodas in the morning, but a healthy breakfast to get them off to a great start. They can also pick up school breakfast in the morning and eat that during homeroom time. The same for lunch. We just preface that please do not bring any peanut products because we do have several students who do have nut and peanut allergies. So we ask that, ooh, there's thunder, that you do not bring any peanut products to school. Students can also bring a healthy lunch from home to eat during class. Sorry, that says homeroom, but actually during lunchtime, they can bring lunch from home. School lunch is also provided if students would prefer to have school lunch. The application will be sent home to you. And then another thing that has kind of changed this year is that all students, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade will have a snack time throughout the day this year. So that is something that we have changed, really trying to make sure that we are meeting the developmental needs of our students. So all students 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade will have a snack time. So please send a healthy snack with students. We will still hold them accountable to no candy and no soda at school. So please do not send any soda. Please do not send your child with any candy, because we will take it from them if we see it. We'll give it back to them at the end of the day, but they will not be able to eat candy and soda during school. But they will have snack time throughout the day. Arrival and dismissal. Let's see. So this is very, very, very important. Please tune in. Arrival and dismissal process has changed for K-8. For some of our students who have returned back from remote learning, they're kind of aware of the changes because we started this process when students returned it back for hybrid. But every parent in our school must download the app Pick My Kid on your phone. It's available in Google. It's also available on Google Play. It's also available in Apple iTunes. You can the Apple Store. You can download Pick My Kid. This is what it looks like on the screen. This technology helps all of our students stay safe and organized. So it's very important that everyone downloads this for dismissal every day. We will also use what we call our health screener survey every morning. So you will receive an email every morning around like 5:30, 6 o'clock to fill out a health screener survey for your child. Each individual child needs a health screener survey to come into the building every day. So the email will come to your child's email account first. I'm gonna go ahead to the next slide. Thank you. So everyone will be required, as well as staff members, leaders, teachers, we are all required visitors to fill out this health screener before we are allowed in the building. The health screener will come to your child's email account. So if you are not aware of what your child's email account is, when you come to our open house, you can get that information. You can also follow up with the office or your child's advisor if you need to know how to access their email account. Once you get into their email account and fill out the survey, there is a space on the survey that will ask you what email address would you like the survey to continue to go to, or would you like to change your survey email address? If you would like it to come to your personal email, which I would say makes sense for it to come to your personal email in the morning, please put your personal email account there. And then every morning you will receive the screener directly to your personal email account. That way you can fill it out and then you can screenshot it. Once it's completed, you'll see on the screen, there's a little green check mark. Once it's completed, you'll screenshot that. So when you drive to drop your student off, you must show that you've completed that screener and received a green check mark in order to drop your student off. If your student is a busser, if your student walks to school, you will need to either screenshot the survey from their phone so that they have it on their phone, or text them a picture of the screenshot so that they're able to show it to us when they arrive to school. It is imperative that everyone fills out the screener in the morning. It is for our safety to ensure that if there is a COVID outbreak, we can also do contact tracing, or if a student or a a member of our school community does not pass the survey, that is an indication that they must stay home in order to keep themselves safe or to keep our school community safe. Here's what it's going to look like when it asks you, when answering the question about who is taking the survey. You're going to choose the parent or guardian of the student at Foundation Academy. Then it's going to ask you if you would like to have this survey sent to your email address. Please click yes and type the preferred email address in the box that appears. So this is what it's going to look like. You are always going to be either the parent or guardian taking this survey for your child. Please keep in mind, it needs to be taken for every child. I know it's a lot. I know you're probably like, if I have 2 kids, do I have to take it for 2? Yes. If you have 6 kids, do you have to take for all 6? Yes. I am a parent. I'm a Foundation Academy parent. I have 2 students and I have to take it for myself. So I'm telling you from experience, I take it for my 2 students every day and I take it for myself. It is a very quick survey. Once you get the hang of it, it makes it very fast, but it's important and imperative that everyone takes it. Someone says, if a student that goes on the yellow bus does not have a cell phone, how will they show the screenshot? Great question. I'm going to answer that in a minute. Yes, and you can also forward it if your child does not have a phone. So please have if you're dropping your child off, or if a family member is dropping them off, they must show the green check mark for that day. So we will be checking the screener as you enter into the school parking lot. And the check mark will show the date. So it's really important that you take it every day, because we will check the date to ensure it's taken for that day. So once you show it and enter into the parking lot, you'll drop your student off and then they can go on their way. If your child is coming on the bus and they do not have a cell phone, what will happen is when they enter in, we can do a check to ensure through our system that it was already completed. If you prefer to text it to someone in the morning, if they're coming with a family member, if they're coming with a friend and they have a phone, you can text it to them. You can also text it to an advisor if you feel more comfortable doing that, and the advisor can make us aware that they did receive the screener check mark for that day. Whichever way works easiest for you, but we have to ensure that we're doing it every single morning that your child comes to school. If you do not complete the survey, we will have to have your child go in and have someone call. So they will go into the gym, and we have people in the gym who will give you a call and ask you to complete the survey screener. If you do not answer the phone when we call you, we will within 15 minutes start to activate and call your emergency contact list. Because this is a health risk, we have to ensure that every single morning these health screeners are completed. It happens, we make a mistake, we forget. I've done the same thing. I've had to stop what I was doing, fill it out before I can let my child go into the building also. So it happens, it's not a big deal if you make a mistake and forget, but please ensure that you answer the phone when we call in the morning, and then quickly fill it out so your child can quickly get into the building and on to their day. If someone in your family is feeling sick, or one of your students is feeling sick, if you take the screener and it indicates that you have symptoms, please do not send your child to school. Your next steps will be to contact the school nurse, and the school nurse will give you next steps. Okay? It's not about it counting against your child's attendance. It's really about everyone's safety. So if anyone you know in your family, or if you have come in contact, or there's a possibility, or your child is sick, please answer the screener survey honestly, and then we'll take the next steps from there. We just want to make sure that your child is safe, your family is safe, and all of our students and families are safe. Okay, for arrival, I'm sorry, someone had a question. Yeah, so if your child has to wear a skirt for religious beliefs and you've already, we have a conversation about it, it is fine. Yes, that exemption still exists in the intermediate school. Thank you for asking that. So for arrival, this is just an overview of what arrival will look like. It is very different we know how the traffic is on West State Street. So we will all have to kind of work together, especially in the first few weeks, to ensure that we're getting all of our students in quickly and safely. That's why it's super important that you have your screener filled out so you can quickly get in, drop your student off, and be on your way. So K through 8 arrival begins at 7:35 for a K through 5th grade. So primary school and intermediate school have to be at school at 7:35. That's the times we will open up the barriers and allow students to come in. We will no longer just have the parking lot open where you could just pull up and wait. We will have a barrier there because it's imperative that we check all screeners before we let you into the parking lot. So if you come to the parking lot and there's a little bit of a backup, if you come super early and there starts to be a backup, we cannot let anyone in until we check all the screeners. No one or no student should be permitted on campus before 7:35. So if your child is a walker or they're catching a bus, we just ask that you kind of let them come in enough time where they're not there super early, because you also won't be able to drop students off. We want to make sure that they're still socially distancing in the morning. All arrival will happen in the back of the building. No students will be allowed to enter at the front of the building of West State Street until after 8 o'clock, which means they're already late in the intermediate school. So, or also in the primary school. So students will not be able to enter the building in the front of the building during arrival. They must come through the back of the building. So they can walk down the ramp. If they're walking up in the front of West State Street, they can walk down the ramp where they'll be checked before they can enter into the building. We also ask that you don't just drop students off in the front of the building, especially if you are doing the screener for them. It's important that you're also like driving around to the back of the building and showing the screener, because we will not let students into class without that screener being checked. And then also no parking on West State Street, because we want to really move the traffic quickly. All at 7:35, cars will begin to move towards the drop-off zone from Rutgers Place. It will be a one-way street. So if you're coming around to Rutgers Place, you will not be able to make a U-turn, drop a student off, and have them walk up. You will not be able to do that. You will have to drive into the parking lot, go through the checkpoint, and drop your student off. No students may exit the vehicle without a confirmed health screener. We have an actual drop-off point. If you look on the picture here, it's where that yellow star is. That is the drop-off point for students. The first orange looks like a hexagon there. That's going to be where they first check your screener at. So when you drive into the parking lot, they'll check your screener. If you're okay to go, they will send you forward to that star, and then you'll drop your student off. We'll open the door. We will give them a green sticker that says to the person who is scanning them on the inside that yes, they're checked and they're free to go. If a student walks in and they do not have a sticker, we will send them back outside and to the gym so that they can be verified. If you come in and you don't have your screener completed, we will ask you to drive to the side, pull over, and complete the screener before we let you come forward or drop off your student. So it may get a little frustrating in the beginning, I understand, but we have to do this for the safety of all students. So please make sure, and we will have someone to remind you before you get all the way into the parking lot, did you complete that screener? So please make sure also if someone is dropping off your child, even if you are someone who is dropping off for other students, you have to have their screener with you. You have to have the screener to verify for every single student in your car. Okay, and so this is just showing you where the checkpoints will be and where the drop-off zone is. Again, it's just showing where the checkpoints are, where middle school will enter through the gym, primary school will enter through the side gym entrance, and intermediate school will enter down the ramp. Everyone will be dropped off in the same place. Students will then be shown to what area that they're going to go in. That is arrival. I know that was a lot. I just want to pause for a second for anyone else who had questions in the chat about arrival. Yes, there is a mask mandate. All students must wear masks. So if they forget a mask, we have some masks for them just as a replacement, but we ask that they come into the building with the mask on. If they forget, we will make sure that they have a mask on. When they enter the building, they will be scanned for their temperature scan. We have an actual temperature scan that they can stand in front of them. It will check their temperature, they hand sanitize, and then they go upstairs. The scanner will not scan them without a mask on. So they must have a mask when they enter the building. You will also receive, if you come out to the back to school night, you will receive name cards for your car. So if you are a car rider, anyone will receive a name card, but it's specifically for those who are driving to drop off their students. The name card you can put in your window. It will be helpful in the morning when you drive up for us to know, is this a primary, intermediate, or middle school student? Also will help us to know how many students are in that car. So how many students should we be checking for the screener in the morning? This will also be helpful when I talk about dismissal, because it will be helpful for us to know what students are being dismissed, and we can easily see who that student is. Also, if you prefer to walk up during dismissal and pick up your child, having that sign is really helpful also, because we can see who the student is and it makes it move a little bit faster. You will receive 2 copies of each of your child's names, one if you have a spouse or a significant other or a family member for their car, and one for your car. All right, so arrival for bussers and walkers will be the same expectation. Students will walk down the ramp from West State Street and they will get checked. Please do not allow students to walk up the back of Rutgers Place, because we will send them back around. They must come down to the checkpoint from West State Street. If your student arrives after 7:51 and they're in K through 5, or 8 a.m. for 6 through 8, they will come through the front door of 363. They will ring the bell. They will still have to show that they completed the health screener, or you will still have to show that you completed the health screener before they can enter the building. They'll have their temperature checked. They will also sanitize. So they will go through the same expectation. So if your student is late, please do not just drop them off outside and leave, because you're going to get a phone call that says, did they complete the screener, if they don't have that screener with them available. So please walk your child up. If they didn't complete the screener, you can complete it at that time, and then they can complete the process once they come into the building. Unfortunately, visitors are not permitted in the building at this time unless you have a scheduled meeting with someone specific. So not into the office, because you also would have to complete the screener and go through the whole process. This is just a picture of the scanner that students will stand in front of when they are enter into the building. Students with a temperature of 100.4 or higher will be escorted to the quarantine room, and the school nurse will immediately contact their parent or guardian. So if they have a fever that's higher than 100.4, there is a designated room for them to go to, so that they are kept safe and the rest of the school community is kept safe. It is imperative that if the school calls you, that you please answer your phone. Just for safety reasons, we are in a time where it's really important that we can have quick contact with parents, or again, we will activate your emergency contact list within 15 minutes if we do not receive a phone call back. All right, so that was all arrival. Hopefully I didn't overwhelm you with all of that information. It is a lot, but we want to make sure that we are that we're being safe and that we're creating safe spaces for our students and for your children. All right, so dismissal has also changed. It's a lot of information about dismissal. So the Pick My Kid app, the one that I spoke to about earlier, is what you're going to use to pick your students up. So we will use the app to manage dismissal beginning at 3:15. Primary school will be dismissed at 3:15. Intermediate school will be dismissed at 3:35, and middle school will be dismissed at 3:50. Please pick up your child at your oldest child's time. So if you have a middle schooler, an intermediate school student, and a primary school student, you're going to come at 3:50 to pick up all of your students. And the reason is, if you come at the primary school time, we're gonna have to make you go all the way back around and get back in the line again, because we can't have you just sit idly and wait for your middle school student for 10 or 15 minutes. So please come at your oldest child's time. Your child will be waiting in homeroom. If you have a younger students, they will be in homeroom safe with their homeroom teachers until you arrive. So please do not come and try to come super early to beat the traffic and you're picking up a middle school student, because we are going to ask you to go back around because we have to move the traffic. Everyone must download the Pick My Kid app. You will use this app to also designate how your child is dismissed daily. If they'll be dismissed by car, meaning you're going to pick them up. If they're going to take a bus, a public transportation, or if they're going to be a walker, or they're going to get on the yellow school bus. It will be designated through Pick My Kid. If you need to make any changes, so if your child usually takes the bus, but today something came up and you're going to pick them up from school, you can make the change and Pick My Kid, but it has to happen before 2:30, and you must call the main office. This is a new system that we're using, and so the more you communicate and let the front office know that you're making a change, the quicker they can get that information to us. Please do not assume if you make the change at 2:29 and dismissal starts at 3:15 and you don't contact the office, we may automatically know that the changes happen. So much things happen during dismissal time, and there's over 800 students that we're dismissing. It may be hard for us to catch every single student, but our secretaries have a quick, streamlined way to get information to us. So please, if you make the change, which is fine, or you can just call the office and let them know you're changing the designation for your child for pickup. Dismissal again will begin at 3:15. We already talked about picking up your oldest scholar, all of your students at the oldest scholar's time. When you pull into the school parking lot, you will go to the Pick My Kid app. You will remain in your vehicle and you will hit the announce button. What happens when you hit the announce button is that our teachers in the classroom, their computers light up and it says such and such student has been announced. Your child's teacher will then send them immediately downstairs outside to the back, and they'll be waiting for you. So if you've ever had Chick-fil-A or any other place where you have a mobile order, you put it in, and when you get there, they're ready. Well, it's the same thing. You're a mobile order for your child. So you must make sure that you have Pick My Kid so that we know that you are here to pick your child up. If you do not use Pick My Kid and you pull up and your child is not there, there's a possibility that you may wait and may get frustrated. And we don't want that to happen. So we're trying to make this system very quick, but we also want to ensure that we know who is picking up our students and that this is a safe dismissal mode. So please make sure that you are using Pick My Kid to pick your child up. We will then mark your child as dismissed. Once we see them get in the car, they have to check with us. Yes, hi, Ms. Francis, I'm getting in the car. We'll be watching. Great. We'll check them off as being dismissed. You will also have those name cards. Remember, I talked about the name cards. So you'll put the name card in your windshield when you pull into the school parking lot. So there's two ways that we're identifying your child. One by the windshield. So if you have 3 students and we only see 2 in the car, we know that we're missing somebody, right? So then we can go back and check and see maybe why it's taking that student so long, or have you announced that student. So it's important that you also use those name cards to help us quickly move and know how many students should be in your car, what school should be looking for them, and we can get the line moving quickly. So please make sure you use those name cards in your windshield along with Pick My Kid. The card name in the windshield is not a replacement for Pick My Kid. You must have both, but you definitely must have Pick My Kid so that you can quickly get your student downstairs. This is just showing you where you'll pick your student up at. This is the pickup zone. Same pickup zone is the same place where the drop-off zone is. All right. At 3:30, staff will transition all of our public transportation students outside. So at 3:30, they will be taken outside to the public transportation bus stop, and the staff member that takes them there will have a tablet, and once they get on that bus, they will click the button and say that they're dismissed. So if you're home and you want to check and see if your child has been dismissed on the bus, well, you have Pick My Kid. You look on your phone, it says dismissed, you know that your child should be on the bus and on their way home. Those who are walkers with no siblings, individual students who don't have a sibling, they will be dismissed to the gym. I'm sorry, they will be dismissed out the front door. A staff member will take them out. Once they're out and starting to walk, meaning they are walking away from the school building. A walker is not a student that comes outside and waits for you to pick them up. That is a car rider, right? So if you are going to walk up and pick up your student, then we're going to assume that they're a car rider and that you're going to come down to the back of the building and pick them up by hitting Pick My Kid app on your phone. You announce that student, they come outside, you can walk, you can take them and walk away with them. But you still must use Pick My Kid if you're gonna, say park down a couple of blocks, get out, walk, and come pick them up. Then you must also still use Pick My Kid. Everyone must use it. If your kid gets on the bus, if you're not there to pick them up and you want to make sure they got home, you're going to use Pick My Kid. So yes, that's our walkers. Walkers with siblings. So if you have a child and you have several children, or they're going home with a cousin, or they go home with friends and they're walking together, if they're designated to walk together, we will pick them up. They will all go to the gym so that they can meet. So your primary school student will come to the gym, your middle school, intermediate school student. Once all students have been connected, they will be walked to the front of the building by staff members. And again, the staff members will take their phone, they'll click that student has been dismissed. So as a parent, you can still see, okay, my child who's a walker has been dismissed and should be on their way home. So this is a way to communicate with you if you don't pick your child up, or a way for you to communicate with us if you do pick your child up. Those who are getting on the yellow bus, same thing. They will be picked up, go to the bus, and then they will be dismissed on the Pick My Kid app that they have been put onto the yellow bus, so that you're aware of what time your child was dismissed to the bus. For late parents, excuse me, if a car rider is not called or dismissed, excuse me, by 3:50, 15 minutes after dismissal starts, staff will start calling you or the guardian of that student to pick them up. If you cannot be immediately reached, we again will start to activate your emergency contact pickup for the student. The student will remain in their classroom with the teacher until the pickup time. All students must be picked up on time and should be out of the building by 4 o'clock. That is imperative, not because we don't love them, because we do, we love spending time with them, but because our custodial team goes into action as soon as our students are out of the building, and they are sanitizing the entire building. So the longer students are in the building, the longer it takes for them to start sanitizing the building. So it is super important. If you want your child to be safe and come to a safe, clean environment, you must pick them up on time. Early dismissal cutoff time. If you are picking your child up for early dismissal, you must pick them up by 2 o'clock p.m. You will need to call the main office at least 15 minutes prior to arriving to the school to inform staff of your early dismissal. The main office will text you an early dismissal form. You must complete that form out before you can come in, or before you come to the main door. And you must wait in the vestibule, like that first section when you first walk into our doors. You must wait there and for your child to come pick them up. The main office staff will verify you by your ID when you pick up a student. So if you have someone picking up a child, they must be on their pickup list, or the main office will call you to verify that this child is allowed to be picked up by the person who is picking them up. Visitor policy: to ensure the safety of our students and staff, visitors again are prohibited from entering the building unless you have a scheduled meeting with a staff member. If you do come in, please bring ID, please bring your mask. You still will need to fill out that health screener that we spoke about, and then you will be escorted to where you need to go. If you do not have a meeting, Please wear a mask, ring the doorbell, and wait to be assisted by Miss Green and Miss Williams. They are not being rude when they don't let you in. That is their job, to protect the door. They have to make sure that we're not inviting visitors in unless they have a scheduled meeting. All right, so that was a lot of information. It was a lot. I know you're probably like, Ms. Francis, it's a lot, all right? I know that we don't expect you to remember everything. So here's how we're gonna help you out. Thursday, August 12th, which is this Thursday, we will have a back to school night. Hopefully you received this information through the Remind app or the All Call or the snail mail that we sent home to you. This is an opportunity for you to come and have your students start off with a strong start to the year by you being informed about everything you need to know. You'll be able to download Pick My Kid right there. We have our IT team there. They will be able to help you download Pick My Kid, help you figure out the health screener. If you didn't pick up your child's computer, you will be able to switch out your child's computer. So please bring the old computer if you didn't have it. Also, we will be able to update your contact information, your dismissal information. Just have your child start strong. So they just send them to school, right? You know everything to do. And that will just help them and you feel really confident about them going back to school. Also, you can ask any question you have. You get to meet us, the teachers, the staff, you get to meet your child's advisor, and it'll just be a fun opportunity to win some prizes, some raffles, and for us to just come back together as a community. So please come out Thursday, August 12th. Primary school starts at 3 o'clock, intermediate starts at 4, middle starts at 5. If you have students in all age groups, or if you have them in more than one school, please come at the earliest child's time. So if you have a child in primary and middle, come at the 3 o'clock time. For your primary school student, you can still meet with the middle school teachers and principals and leaders. They will still be there. So come at the earliest child's time this time. But don't forget, when you're doing dismissal, come at the latest child's time. I know it's a lot, but just to help you remember that. If you have any other questions, take a picture of this, screenshot this. You can contact Ms. Williams, our IS school secretary, who is amazing. You can contact her by email or call her or text her if you have any questions, or you can reach out to me, our leader of student culture. Here is my number, or you can email me if you have any questions, or you can text message and I will get back to you. To be honest, I'm much faster on text. So if you want to get something from me quicker, it's probably best to text me and then I will follow up with you if you have any other questions. Let me check here for questions. Do they have to bring their laptops to school every day? Great question. So the goal will be for us to house the laptops with us every day. One, because we're talking about little nuggets and they tend to throw their book bags around or not always be safe. So we're going to have students keep their laptops in school every day, but it will be their laptop there that they will work on every day. So they're not sharing laptops. So yes, they will keep them in school unless there's something specific they need to take it home for, and then we will let you know that they're bringing them home. That's a great question. Any other questions? Feel free to put them in the chat. When will the yellow bus come to the school to pick up for their after school programs? So I personally do not know the exact date that the after school programs are picking up. They've changed due to COVID. There were some changes last year. The best thing for you to do would be to contact Ms. Williams in the front office. They would be able to tell you exactly what day the after school programs are picking up for our students. It says your students live across the street from the school. Can they just walk home? Absolutely. You still need to have Pick My Kid though. So even if they walk home, that's fine. You still just need to download it and register for Pick My Kid so that you have a clear understanding of when they leave the building. Also, I think I forgot to say, this is important. If you have someone picking up your child for you, they must also have Pick My Kid. They must download Pick My Kid. You must designate in the system. It will show you how to designate a person to pick up your child 1 day or every day, but you must have them designated. We will not send a child in a car if that person does not have Pick My Kid. They are able to download it. They can also register, and then they will register as a person that's a delegate, so that you will delegate to them. If not, we will ask them to pull over. We will call you, and they will have to be verified. We will not send them without having proof that they should be going home with that person. So please make sure you delegate. If you're not sure how to do that, that's why you can come on Thursday and get that help. But please, please, please make sure you're either delegating or you're downloading the app, even if it's their sibling. Even if their sibling graduated from our high school last year and we know who the sibling is, they still must have Pick My Kid to pick up your student. We're just trying to create safety around our dismissal system. Will students go back to receiving homework? They will not go back to receiving homework this year. Students in the intermediate school, I can speak only specifically for, will not be receiving homework this year. Ms. Birchmore, I don't know if you want to jump in. Someone asked, what's the likelihood of virtual school being offered?
Sure. With the homework question real quick, I just wanted to also say, like, homework doesn't count towards students' grades. However, teachers may advocate that your student may need extra practice and may ask your students to practice, additional problems or reading and things like that at home. It is not something that they'll be penalized for, but an opportunity for them to master the skills that they need to master. But they should communicate that directly with you and with your student. The other question was about the likelihood of virtual school being offered. At this point in time, it's mandated by the state that our schools are open for 100% in-person learning. So there is no virtual option at this point. Based on guidance from the state and what's going on with COVID and things like that, that may change. But at this point in time, we are 100% in-person learning, and there are no virtual options for students attending foundation academies.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Birchmore. Someone asked, what day will regular bus transportation start? I'm not sure. I believe it starts on our first day of full instruction. But again, that would be a great question to ask at the open house or to call the main office. They will be able to give you the exact date for the school bus services to begin. That's a great question.
And regarding the questions about the other programs and the busing, I believe that there will be representatives from the Boys and Girls Clubs that service our school at our back to school night on Thursday at tables. So if there are questions specifically about enrollment and transportation for some of those after school programs, they should be there to answer any questions that you may have as well.
Yeah, someone stated that they received a letter from the YMCA that says that they may not start picking up students until September 8th. So thank you for that information. And also, someone said that they were searching for a laptop cover and they couldn't find one. That's fine. You don't need a laptop cover. We actually have little bags, or I don't know what they're called, little covers that students can put the laptops in for protection. But yes, don't go out and try to find a cover because we'll make sure that they stay at school. Any other questions?
I think there was also a question, what day does school open? So on Wednesday, the 18th, that is for new students. It's new student orientation. So only new students will start on the 18th. That is a half day. All students return to school on the 19th. That is also a half day. And our students will be in half days, everyone starting from the 19th all the way to through the 27th. So then starting on August 30th, we have full days of school. So 7:35 to 3:35.
Yes, someone also asked, do they need a headset? So most of our students received headsets last year. They can absolutely bring them with them to school to use. Instruction won't be pretty much virtual anymore. They'll use the computer, but instruction will be live in the classroom. But there may be times that the teacher will ask them to do something or listen to something or while they're working. So feel free to have them bring a headset or earbuds so that they can use for their computer.
I'll just reiterate that school starts in August. So August 18th is just new students. So new student orientation, that's for students who are new to Foundation Academies who have never attended any of our schools before. And that's just a one-day orientation, but that is August 18th. All of our students return back to school on August 19th. So we will be in school starting in August. Everybody is there on the 19th. All of those days are half days until August 30th. On August 30th, we have full days of school. And the calendar should be updated on the school website if you need to refer to any days and whether they're full or half days for the entire school year.
There was a question, Ms. Birchmore, will the beginning of school hours ever change?
As much as I would love maybe some later hours, right now the beginning of school hours may not change. They may shift slightly, as you notice, like when we were hybrid, everybody started at the same time. It kind of shifted back more so for capacity for arrival. But right now the hours are set for this school year. So 2021, 2022, these are the school hours. We have our full 8-hour day, half days on Fridays, and that'll be the case for the entire school year. And I see a question about students socially distancing in the classroom. Right now, the expectation is that students' desks in the classroom are 3 feet apart. So we've done our best to ensure that students' desks are that far apart. If student desks are closer to that, or there's potential that they may sit at a table, then they have plexiglass. So they will socially distance as far as the 3 feet goes. At every point in time during the day, students will have their masks on when they are in the classroom with appropriate mask breaks, because I know it's really hard for kids to keep their masks on. And obviously when they're eating, they don't need to have them on, but we will continue to socially distance them at the 3 feet in the classroom as they transition in the hallways. And then like lunch and things like that, provide them the plexiglass to be able to eat and be around each other safely. Sorry, just checking to see if there are any more. These are great questions. As Mrs. Francis stated before, advisors will be beginning to reach out to families as soon as tomorrow. So if you have questions, please, one, utilize your advisors. They know all this information. You can also refer back to this because it will be recorded, or reach out to our school secretary or to Mrs. Francis if you do have questions regarding any of the things that we've covered. And yes, classrooms are sanitized between students switching classes in 5th grade. So students will have the opportunity to wipe down their individual learning spaces. Teachers are required to wipe down any learning space that they use. We have hand sanitizer protocol as students enter and exit each classroom as well. For that, just to be sanitary and to make sure that everyone is safe. So yes, the classrooms will be sanitized mostly by students. When there's a big transition at the end of the day or at lunch, then the classrooms will be deep cleaned by our facility staff members.
Oh, I saw a question about the name tags. The name tags will not be mailed home this time. They will, you will have the opportunity to pick them up at back to school night on Thursday. If you're unable to attend, you can feel free to come to the front office and ask to pick it up. You won't be able to come all the way in, but I'm sure they'll be able to give it to you through the door. Or once your student returns back to school, we can send it home with them. It's, again, the name tag is not mandatory to have. Pick My Kid is mandatory. So if you have Pick My Kid and you hit announce and they come downstairs, you're good to go. But if you have the name tag in the window, it's just really helpful for us to move things quickly. Again, if you're picking your child up, bringing that name tag with you in hand will also be helpful to quickly move your student out. That was a great question. Thank you.
Mrs. Francis, there was also a question about when students will find out what class or homeroom they're in. So advisors will start calling as early as tomorrow, so that will be an opportunity for you to find out if they call. We will also have class lists and schedules available for parents on Thursday for our back to school night. So those are two ways to find out. And then as Google Classrooms get set up, students should see the invites and see which class they're in. So you'll definitely know by the first day of school, but those are some options for getting that communication early on. I see a question about checking students' temperature at home. I think it's a great practice to do that. The temperature checks, and Ms. Francis would know because she does the arrival, is not the part that takes a really long time in the morning. It's really the surveys and ensuring that they're complete. You're more than welcome to take the temperature of your child before they go to school. I know I do that for my daughter, but you don't have to do that. We'll do the scan as long as the student has the mask on, and it's very quick. It turns green, and then we can send them right upstairs. And just make sure you have the health survey. The survey doesn't include the temperature, it's all the other symptoms related to COVID. So you don't have to feel obligated to do that. Just make sure that the screener is complete. But that part is really fast in the morning. Mrs. Francis and I will stay on for as long as you guys need for any questions that you may have. If you feel like your questions have been answered, this is the end of our presentation. We're truly excited to have school start, but also take very seriously the health and safety of your students, which is why we spent so much time going over all of these details. Again, if you have questions, you can utilize the main office, Mrs. Francis, and myself to to get that information, but you're welcome to leave if you don't have any other questions. And I see there's a question about the uniform in the chat. You can get the uniform and set up an appointment time at Bits and Pieces, and we can put the information for Bits and Pieces in the chat.
Yes, I'll put it in there. They will also, I believe Masu will also come out on Thursday to our back to school night, so that you can make an appointment at that time with him. So if you haven't made an appointment yet, if you come out on Thursday, he will be there to take appointments for those who want to come in for uniforms.